Once the landing craft were loaded with about approximately 30 men, they left the ship and went into a few hundred yards from the ship and went in a circle because this was an assembly point. The order came down for us to proceed to the beach. And at that particular time, there was a lot of shell fire going on from the shores to the ships and from the ships to the shore. When I landed in the water, I landed up to my chest in water. And your main concern was survival. And you could not, if you got into a situation where you were loaded down with equipment and you were going underwater, you could not expect help from anybody. It was up to you. You had to help yourself. And that's why a lot of men drowned that way. I was able to make it to the iron barriers that the Germans had put up. And not only myself, but all of the men that were trying to make it to the beaches, we used these barriers as protection. It took me a few minutes to get accustomed to what I was experiencing, seeing so much death, seeing so many men die. And it took a few minutes for my training to kick in, and I was able then to start treating men, bandaging wounds, setting splints if they had broken bones, makeshift whatever I could find for splints, bandage them up, treat the wounds, and if they were serious ill, give them a shot of morphine to ease the pain. And while I was doing this, I happened to look back out to the water. The tide was coming in very fast, and I saw that many of the wounded men, a lot of them were drowning because the tide was coming in and it was washing over their bodies, and they were drowning. So I thought I had to help them. So I left what I was doing. I stopped treating the men on the beach, and I went back to the water. Some of the men were very heavy, and they had a lot of equipment on them. And I used to get under their arms, lay them on their back, and get up under their arms, and I was able to pull them up to the water, up to the shoreline, and get them out of the deep water. And I did this, I don't know how often, until I became exhausted. And then I had to rest. And once I had rested a little bit, then I started doing the same thing all over again. And one of the men that I knew, an infantryman, he later gave a report that he had seen me carrying men that were much bigger than I was, and he did not know how I did it. But you get, once the adrenaline starts flowing in your body, it gives you strength. And I was able to accomplish my mission that way. While I was walking the beach, I came across a man that had a very bad stomach wound. And when I looked, I saw that it was a medic that I knew. His name was Edward Mirosevich, and we knew each other, we greeted each other, and I treated him. But I could not bandage his wound properly because he had a stomach wound and it was not easy to bandage. And I did what I could for him, and I gave him a shot of morphine, and we said goodbye to each other because he knew he was dying and I knew he was dying, because he was perhaps bleeding to death inside of his stomach because of the wounds he had. If I had perhaps had the proper instruments, I probably could have saved his life, but I did not have them.